already know just where I be, dog. I ain't being cocky, but Philly what I'm reppin'. Watch me check it like it's hockey. I ain't tryna get it twisted. If you get it, then you got me. If you with it, cool. If not, I'll treat you like a Tamagotchi. I'ma let you down point. Yeah, I never disappoint.
What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 6 of the Seattle Attack franchise mode. And in the last episode, we came to the unfortunate ending of the regular season where we failed to make the playoffs. However, our AHL team did. So we had some good talent down there. Hopefully they can develop into future players for us in the NHL. But today, we're going to be kind of simulating the rest of the playoffs, at least for the AHL, seeing who wins up, looking at the awards, and getting to the off season. So let's go down here to about June 20th or so. And I need to turn off injuries. I had to re-record this because I didn't turn off injuries. So let me go do that because we don't really care about the season now since we are out. As we simulate up to the off season here, we're going to kind of talk about what we want to do in the off season. So we have a lot of guys that we traded for at the trade deadline, which I intend to keep, I believe, all of them, if I'm not mistaken. And also we have the entry-level draft, which is something we're we're going to go very into detail with, because we do need a lot of picks, and we should have a good pick this year, especially being as horrible as we did do this year. But it does look like our AHL team ended up falling in the first round to the Laval Rocket, 1-3 it looks like. So that's unfortunate, but they got eliminated. We didn't make the playoffs, so I guess they made it definitely farther than us. So super excited about that. I guess good job to them, make it to the first round of the playoffs, even though you got eliminated. Oh well. So yeah, with the entry-level draft coming up, like when we started, we knew it was the the Patrick and Hischier draft. But this time, it's going to be the Donlin, Svechnikov, Zadina, and those guys draft. So my goal is to get a top 5 pick. Well, we should have a top 5 pick. And I believe we also have another first-round draft pick, if I remember correctly. But as we're simulating here, I'm trying to think of what we have. So here we go. So the playoffs are complete. The playoffs have ended. Yeah, we know. The Stanley Cup champions are the Montreal Canadiens. Okay, congrats to them. Calder Cup champions, the Manitoba Moose. All right, so I guess good games to them. I kind of want to go see the brackets at least. So I'll just keep the current prices, at least for this year, as we simulate even more and stop at June. Actually, we'll stop right here, if it would stop. There we go. So let's get back to the main menu here as these screens take forever to load. And let's go see what ended up happening. So playoffs, and I believe there is a bracket over, there we go. So playoff tree. So it looks like Nashville, St. Louis, Chicago, Arizona, Edmonton, and Anaheim. That's actually pretty close to what it's going to be. I mean, obviously, interchange a couple of teams there. On the other side, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Washington, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay and Boston, and Montreal 4-0'd. The Islanders. 4 Boston as well, and then they 4-1, 4-2. Wow, that's crazy. So you guys can see it there, the playoffs. You know, it looks like super good games. Only a couple of 4-0. Actually, there was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might be missing 1 or 2, but about 5 4-0s. So at least it was a pretty entertaining series. This was a pretty entertaining playoffs, it looks like. Obviously, I hoped we would have gotten there. Wait, Arizona made it to the finals? How did Arizona make it to the finals? They 4-0'd Nashville. Hold on, where did they start? They 4-2'd Chicago, 4-0'd Nashville, 4-0'd Colorado, and then lost in the finals. That was the team we traded, was it David Perron to? So I guess maybe that trade came back to bite us. So on the right-hand side there, you see our Portland Storm losing against Laval. They end up losing Toronto in the next round after that. But it looks like Manitoba and Toronto were in the finals, so congrats to them as well. And also looks like they play a best of 5 in the first round down there, and then they go to a best of 7 after the first round. So let's get right on into the draft, and hopefully we have a good pick, because I want a good draft pick. I keep clicking the wrong thing. So let's go over to where I wanted to go to. Calendar. That's what I want to go to. There we go. So I think retirements also are on the 21st or 22nd. There we go. Retired players. I think the only retired player for us was Jerome McGinley. You know, fill-in guy, bottom lines. You know, basically only got him for salary, but you know what? I guess it's it's good to see a veteran like him go out on top. We are now at the entry-level draft. So all I did on the trade block, just so you guys know, is put Louis Domingue, who was a backup goalie for us, and that's basically it. And then I just put we wanted prospects. So what pick did we end up getting? Okay, so we got the 8th overall pick, which is something I really didn't want. I was hoping for at least a top 5. But as you can see on the top there, we could get a decent player here. But obviously we want Dahlin or Zadina, and I don't actually see Svechnikov, so we could possibly... That's not him. Where is he? Where did he go? Is he not even in this draft or something? Like, where did he go? So after a quick look, I didn't actually find Svechnikov, so either I am blind and I just don't see him, or he's just not here. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I guess let's get right on into the draft. After doing a little bit of research, we're going to go with this player, Ryan McLeod from Mississauga in the OHL. 6'2", centerman, power forward. You know, he seems to be putting up good numbers in real life. 55 overall, so it looks like we're going to have to grow him into a good player. So let's continue on. Sim the next user pick. Second overall, or I keep saying the wrong one first. Second round, 8th overall. Obviously did not find, what's his face? We did not find Svechnikov, which kind of sucks because he was one of the big, you know, key players that we were really going to want. So Noah Dobson, I feel like I've heard a lot about this player. This is a player that I've heard a lot about, Noah Dobson, and we also need prospect defensemen. So I'm going to go with him. The other two guys, you know, were good, but you know what? Noah Dobson is my player. Never heard of this guy, but Joe Nolan, he seems to have some pretty darn good stats. So let's pick him up. We're now in the off season. The rest of the draft after about the 3rd round was really not that exciting. No trades, no really anyone interesting that we really got. So not very good picks at the end of the draft, but let's get right into the contracts and solidify our mainstays for next year. So we got lots of cap room, but we do have to sign, I don't want to say a lot of people, but a bunch of people. So right from centers all the way through. So let's get right into it. Philip Deneau, you know, he definitely solidified his first line spot last year. Is he going to play first line this year? Maybe, maybe not. But 3 years, I think this is an upgrade from his previous, if I do not actually I don't remember at all. So yeah, he was a restricted free agent. So yeah, he's coming off of a, you know, breakout year, but let's give him a 2-year deal because I don't want to go 3 years just yet. I feel like 3 years at 2 mil or 2 years at 3 mil. That definitely, I think he earned that one. But as for the rest of the lineup, this is where it gets difficult because obviously you guys know the AHL team. I'm going to probably do most of that off camera. Plus we have a lot of draft picks that are eligible for the AHL this year. So I will take care of all of the AHL guys afterwards. But as far as NHL, this is what we're most focused on here. The only reason I'm going to say what I'm about to say is because Mark Letestu originally got him for some depth, and he didn't really turn out the way I wanted him to be, so I'm going to release him. Now, the next thing I want to do is get a true top line center. That's my goal for the off season, is to get top line material players. So obviously we have tons of cap, so that's not really the issue. But that's what I'm really looking for. So while I'm talking here, I'm just going to go through some of these AHL guys and give them contracts for next year. I also forgot to mention, I don't know if all of those random players that they fill our team with after the expansion draft are going to stay there or not. But if they are, the only really way to kind of get rid of them is to sign them to a 1-year deal and then release them immediately. So that kind of sucks, but if we are going to go that route, then we're going to have to sign a lot of them or as many of them as possible and then keep them for most of the year and then basically release them at the end of the year. So it's kind of scummy in that sense, but you know what? It's something we got to do. Now on to left wings. Now this is probably our most contested, I'll call it, position. And we have, what, potentially... What was it? 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So we have 6 guys all looking for an NHL spot. Now, Spooner was our mainstay last year on the first line. We traded for Dvorak, so those 2 guys aren't going anywhere. But as far as Burmistrov, Grabner, Dzingel, DiGiuseppe all go, this is where it gets difficult, obviously. Now, Dvorak, I believe, is going to make a big jump this year as far as overall goes. Although, we have to see what contracts are. Grabner wants about $3 million for 1 or 2 years. Not really something I really want, to be honest. And if we're going to spend about $3 million, I'd love to get someone a little bit better than him. Because, yes, he has speed, but in a lot of situations, he didn't really fit with our lineup. Now, I know this is, like, obviously a video game, but I want to get someone a little bit better than him in order to be there. So we're going to release him. But then it still gives us 3 other guys fighting for 2 spots. And Burmistrov, DiGiuseppe, I feel like Burmistrov was a good pickup when we got him. But there's no really point to keep him around. Even though he wants a really low contract. I thought he was going to want a lot more. But Dzingel, I definitely want to keep him 1 year, 1 mil. Basic contract. DiGiuseppe, please want a 2-year. Oh, he wants it. Okay. So let's qualify him an offer there. Burmistrov, I kind of want to keep him as well. So let's sign him to a 900 deal. And then AHL guys. That was done with left wings. Nothing really exciting there. But now on to right wings. We only really have 4. So that's good for us. But here's also the problem. Is they all need to be signed. So Justin Williams was a huge pickup last year. It was huge. So he wants less money than he did last year. And I don't want to get caught up in a contract that I really don't want. So 3.5 mil at 1 year will be a good contract in my opinion. Then the other 3 guys, I definitely want to sign. So let's just get them under contract, get them in for next year. So 2 years, I'll put them to 26. That'll be fine. Let's give him 1.5 there. So 1.5 mil at 2 years. Brett Ritchie, that's fine for me. Even, I kind of want to, let's see if he accepts that. 2 years, 1.25. Kapanen, hopefully you want, okay, you want a decent deal too. So let's go 2 years, 1 mil. That'll definitely give us time to, see what they become. It's because they're all pretty young. Obviously, Williams being the 36-year-old that he is. But this gives these guys time to see if they're going to grow or if they're just going to stay at that overall. And then if they don't grow, then, you know what? We'll have to get rid of them in whatever sense. All the other right wings wanted, NHL deals. But, we can't really have those guys on NHL deals because they're probably not going to play in the NHL unless we have tons of injuries. So we had to release most of our AHL right wings, but we kept a couple. So as far as defense goes, kind of traded away our, access guys last year, but our top 4 is solidified for at least the next 2 years, unless we get someone, clearly better than any of them. So it does look like Vatanen's peaked at 83. So I guess that's, all right. He's still got time to, I guess, grow if he could, but then, 2 years on his deal. But Edmondson, okay. So you want 1.5 for 1 year. 2.5, then 2.9. We are going to assign you to, how do you feel about 2 years at $2 million? Actually, what did he do last year? 5 points minus 11. That's not horrible, but I think I'm going to switch my mind. I'm going to go with 1 year, 1.5 mil. Yeah, 1.5 mil, 1 year for Edmondson. I got to click offer contract first. But this is where it gets interesting because we had Colin Miller last year. But his overall decreased significantly. So do I really want to bring him back? Kind of. But then again, I kind of want to. So we're just gonna keep him. But Derek Pouliot, you actually want an NHL deal, so we're gonna qualify you just in case people want to try to offer you a contract. We can get some compensation for you at least. Miller wants a two-way deal, which is very, very interesting. So Olofsson, let's sign you to a 1 year, $750. Bunch of new faces on the defensive end at least. Going to be signed in on our defense as long as they accept. But as for goaltenders, now we still have Ian Scott waiting for kind of a spot in the AHL. We're just going to qualify Deming. Hopefully I'll be able to trade him, once the free agency comes around. Because we couldn't trade him at the draft because no one really wanted a 1 year deal. But as far as our goaltenders go, we're going to trade Deming. Then we'll have Subban, Velaheinen, I'm going to go with. And then, we'll just release Dreger and sign Scott. So it looks like most of our guys accepted, all but 3 at least. Well, I guess maybe 6 if you count those guys. But Justin Williams, I don't know why he didn't accept, but I guess if he wants 2 years, let's give it to him. Let's give him $4 million because he did very well last year. I believe he was our top point getter. So if we can get that repeat on the first line, that'd be huge. And Brett Ritchie, I don't know why you didn't accept that contract. I guess 1.25 there. Burmistrov, 950, sure. And then the AHL guys. We ended up releasing Burmistrov, and Justin Williams did not want to re-sign with us, so that kind of sucks. But either way, we're in free agency now. Funny, because guys like Justin Williams will want some crazy big deal when you're trying to re-sign them, and they want to test the free agency market. But then once they get there, they want even less money and less years. Makes sense, right? But as far as the team goes, I want to focus mainly on our forwards because our defense, our goaltender are kind of set as far, unless there's like some crazy elite goaltender here. Craig Anderson, not for a 4-year deal at least, not really for me. But we still got to trade away, what's his face, Deming there. But let's focus on strictly forwards because our defense is fine. I'm not worried about our defense at all. We still need a top line center, which we have filled with Turris if he wants to sign. As far as that goes, then we could possibly bring back Williams. We mainly only need a top-line center because a top-line center and Justin Williams back, or someone like Marchessault or Verbata or whoever else. But if we get these two, I think we'll be in a good spot for next year. So let's offer Kyle Turris a contract. Looks like he's only got Carolina interested in him. But if we're trying to get a top-line center and a Kyle Turris, we're going to go big. 7 years. $7 million, 2-year deal. Now, if he doesn't want to sign with us at that deal, then we'll have to throw some more money at him. But Justin Williams, even though he didn't want to re-sign with us, or you want to test the free agency market, we're still going to do the same thing we did last year. $5 million, 1-year deal. He was our top point getter, so obviously we want him back. But as far as anyone else goes, guys, we're not really looking at any of these guys because I don't really want Bozak. I don't really want Eller. We're fine on centers, and we have a couple of younger guys there. And, I can't really see anything else I really, really want as far as players go. So let's go trade Deming, and then we'll hopefully get Turris and Williams. As I'm researching for a trade for a goal, to trade away Deming, I should say. I'm just trying to find, anything I can really get, mainly because Ian Scott, the guy we signed in the offseason, has to go back to the juniors this year. So, looking for an AHL goalie, essentially. But as I was scrolling through, I didn't get very far. But Arizona, if you look at their goaltender situation, Antti Ranta is a 90 overall. 90. Now, you were like, oh, he probably had a great year, right? Like, perfect record, like, no goals allowed. No. You look at his record, 28-10. All right, it's good. It's not, like, great, but it's good, right? A decent save percentage. Goals against is kind of low. But overall, just kind of like, a good year, but not really, like, an amazing elite level year. But then it got me thinking, I'm like, all right, who's your other goaltenders? Now, I don't know if they had a different one or if it was also Ryan Miller. I know we traded Ryan Miller to them. But Ryan Miller, when he got there, he did like the same thing Ranta did. Same thing, basically. So similar numbers there. But then this is what gets me right here. You go to the playoffs. Miller was their starter in the playoffs, meaning they were the same overall. 13, 4, and 2, with 2 shutouts, a save percentage of .918, and a goals against a 2.4. How does that make sense? It does look like Justin Williams ended up re-signing with us. Kyle Turris did not, mainly because he said he wanted, to win, and we're not in a position to win. However, little does he know, we're going to send some more money at him, and he's going to accept it. So it looks like Carolina is somehow no longer interested in him, and the New Jersey Devils are. So let's send even more money at him. 7.75 for 2 years. There's no way he does not accept this. There it is. Kyle Turris is going to be our top line center. He finally accepted. So I'm super happy about that one, but let's go see if we need anything else before we simulate up to the preseason. One thing we really need is a fourth line left wing and a couple of AHL players, which is something that I didn't think we actually needed. But you know what? Let's go down a little bit here and see what's on the market. So down in this area probably where we'll find somebody. So there's Kunakl who could fill that spot. We could bring back Burmistrov, but he's more of a playmaker. We're looking for more of like a two-way type player. So let's see what Kunakl is. He's still semi-young. Probably get at least 14 points out of him. You know, shorthanded, PK. You know, that's what I'm really looking for. So Kunakl, he'll have to play some left wing, which he'll probably won't mind. But let's go 1.75 on him, and he should be our fourth line left wing. Kunakl ended up accepting. DiGiuseppe comes back as well on his restricted free agency offer, which is good. And then we got a couple other AHL guys to fill in the gaps, as long as Pouliot, or I should say as well as him. So we did look like we got pretty much everyone that we wanted. And, you know, we have a trade. All right, so let's go see what this trade is. So it looks like the New York Rangers want Kevin Shattenkirk in exchange for next year's first-round draft pick. So, as always, let's look over it. So Shattenkirk is going to be our #1 right-handed offensive defenseman. You know, we have Vatanen that we could, you know, slide up into the first line spot, but after that, we don't really have anyone to really fill that spot this year. So not really feeling this one, even though I'd love that first-round pick. Not feeling it, but could we make it work? Do they have anything else we really want? So it looks like they still have McDonough, obviously, but they don't have anything else I really want. So as for now, I am going to reject this trade. In the background, I did all of the, you know, upgrading and maintaining and, you know, getting the new everything possible and trying to spend the money properly as far as the behind the scenes front office management stuff goes. Man, I really got to stop recording for this long. We're at 53 minutes, but it should be a lot less for you guys that are watching. But either way, let's get up into the preseason days and show you what a potential lineup might look like. So we upgraded our center position, and we retained our top line centerman. So owner expectations, let's see what they are. View the owner goals. So this year, all right, so he wants, the primary goal is to sell out 28 times to help establish our home ice. Secondary goals, defending home ice is a must for a team like ours. Get 17 home wins. All right, this doesn't seem too difficult, but you know what? You never know. I want you to build a new parking lot to increase our parking revenue. I had to have the money to do so we couldn't really do that. And stretch goals, we need more club seats. Upgrade the club seating by one level. Unfortunately, I wish that was last year because I ended up doing that, I believe, in the off season. So we'll have to do it again. Probably after the season. Well, you have to do it after the season. But we should be able to do that. I mean, 28 out of 41, I believe, home games. So we should be able to do that. And you know, defending home ice, 17 home wins. We should be able to do that. We will not do that yet. And we still have to set a captain. And I don't know if we're going to do it this year or not. Because I still want to establish our team, you know, before I start putting up, you know, the captain and getting up, you know, perfect lines and, you know, all that stuff. So WHL 6 weeks and right before the preseason. So let's go through, make the roster moves, and show you guys the lineup. The lineup doesn't look that great. We have to remember that guys like Dvorak and Ritchie put up huge numbers last year, as well as Williams. We got Turris in the offseason, and Spooner was one of our top contributors, as well as getting guys like Kapanen into the lineup, and then moving Pajot down. It will give us, you know, a solid top 3 center core. And, you know, Pajot, if one of our top guys gets hurt, you know, he could definitely fit up there. Or if Pajot starts doing better, I have no problem moving either of these two guys down. But as for the rest of the lineup, even though okay. So the lineup will look a little bit different because there's actually going to be a fight for positions in the NHL this year. Now, you guys won't see it because it will be in the preseason. But this was what the team will most likely look like. You guys did see us sign Kunakl. He most likely will be in the lineup unless DiGiuseppe just absolutely just tears stuff up. But most likely DiGiuseppe will go down. But there's a fight there. Actually, I'm going to take the Zingle out right now to put in for Kuhnackel, just so we have the two guys fighting for a spot in the lineup, because I do want, to signal the lineup. He was pretty crucial last year. But Kuhnackel and DiGiuseppe will be fighting for that fourth line left wing spot. And then actually at defense, we have 3 guys competing for a spot. 3 of them. So don't think, Martinez and who was the guy? Vatanen didn't go anywhere. They're just scratched right now, right? And along with Dzingel. But we have a fight, basically. And Edmondson and Miller was supposed to be our third line going into this year. But Pouliot and Polka both are at good overalls. We're going to have an absolute fight for positions this year. Goaltenders, you guys probably saw in the offseason that we traded away Domingue with the hopes of Korpisalo going to come out this year and actually do well. Well, he is now the same overall as Michael Neuvirth. So we have 283 goaltenders, and I had said all along that once Neuvirth's contract was up, most likely Korpisalo will be at that overall where he'll take over as a starter role, and then we'll have someone like Malcolm Subban coming up and backing him up. Well, this is the year that will probably happen. So if Neuvirth starts to suck or not do well, or he's just not playing well, or we don't make the playoffs and we're not in a push, if we're not in a spot to make the playoffs, we'll trade away Neuvirth, bring up Subban, because Subban is at an 80 overall. So this is what the general lineup will look like, with the exception of adding, I guess, 2 defensemen and another forward back into the lineup. But as for this, I'm going to wrap it up because I've been recording for over an hour now. And, you guys probably only see like 25, maybe 30 minutes of this one. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below. Comment what you guys thought of the team, last year, coming into this year. You think we're going to do well? What do you guys think we're going to do this year? I have high hopes. We have a little bit more of higher overalls this year, which is good. But, overalls don't mean anything, really, in the land of simulation. And subscribe for more. Anyway, guys. We'll see you later.
I want you forever, even when we're not together. Scars on my body so I can take you wherever. Like, I want you forever, even when we're not together. Scars on my body, I can look at you and